Hello, guys. Happy Thursday. I'm so happy to see you today. Welcome to this live stream where we are doing just a quick little Q&A sesh. It's been a little while since I went live, and we have been, if you haven't noticed, we've been doing a quick wins series here on this channel, and it's been so fun. So today I figured let's just go live. Let's take some Q&As that we had on Instagram. We pulled them on the stories. So if you don't follow me on the Instagram stories, we're at Bryce and Stephanie. You can follow me on the stories there. Put up a quick question box for this. We have a few questions that we're going to run through. But of course, if you're here with me today on live, go ahead and throw them in the chat. So I did see that there was one in the chat too, and we're going to prioritize those as well. Also, thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry that we're a little late. I am dealing with, you guys, like the headache of a lifetime today, and it kind of has like knocked me. I don't usually have headaches, and so I'm a really big baby when I do have them. So that's just something that you should know about me, apparently. Okay, let's hit this. So David said, first question, at what point in your career did you feel confident enough in your knowledge and expertise to begin coaching others? Well, I think that there's really no expert, right? Like there's always just going to be somebody who just happens to be a little further ahead than you. So I actually started teaching classes on the things that I was learning once I was about 3 years into the business. I don't think that I really felt confident as a real estate agent until we had been in it for about 2 years full time. We had done a lot of deals at that point, and we had finally gotten used to the fact that we were never going to be fully comfortable, I guess you could say. And the reason I say that, if you've been in the business for a while, you'll understand that, because there's just always going to be something that's going to throw you off, right? Like every transaction is different. You're always going to, as soon as you think that you've seen it all, you're going to be blown away by some insane new situation. And once we really realized that, and realized that whatever the industry, and life and business had to throw at us, once we realized that we were resourceful enough to pivot with that and address those different kinds of things, then we began feeling a little bit more like we were confident in selling our services. But I actually started selling, and that's adjacent to the question, but that's kind of like an aside. I started teaching classes at our brokerage because I was really interested in what social media was doing for our business. And I started doing that around like 2017. And I also was just sharing about what we were learning with systems. So in our brokerage was growing really quickly at the time. And, a lot of people were interested in what we were doing. Because we were doing social media way before a lot of other agents in our area were doing it. But we were also talking about like ways that we could work smarter, not harder. We were really interested in being able to travel and enjoy our lives. And so at that point, I was just kind of sharing about what we were learning. And that's when I realized that there was a really big portion of the industry that's very underserved. A lot of the coaching that's out there right now is from guys that haven't sold a house in 10, 15 plus years. They've completely missed how quickly the industry has shifted and how consumer expectations have changed and how technology has just totally revolutionized everything. And I just found that so much of the industry is very much underserved, and that's why I began coaching in earnest. One thing that I'm really passionate about is just not waiting for permission. If you feel like you have a mission and if you think that you can help, don't wait for permission. Just do it. James, hey, he says, maybe a video will be needed for this, but how do you add any music to a reel video? I love your reel videos and trying to follow your lead. Thanks for that question. And I'm really glad that you're trying to do reels. So I know that this is a terrible answer. I don't know. I don't know how to add any music to a reel. So I usually, when I'm making a reel, if I want music, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. And you can YouTube it. Okay, so find someone who's better than me, first of all. But the way that I do this, and I know this is probably not the right way, quote unquote, to do this, is I actually have to start in TikTok. So I will either screen record a YouTube video or like a movie or something where I want that sound, and then I'll post it as a private TikTok. I know this sounds like so insane. I post it as a private TikTok, And then, so only I can see that. But once you do that, you can then create videos with that sound. So then what I'll do is go ahead and make that video using the sound overlay. And then before I post that TikTok, I screen record the TikTok so that I can get that raw video without the watermarks and then upload that on Instagram also. I swear, James, I know that there's probably an easier way to do this. I know it probably sounded like I was just speaking like a foreign language. See if there's people who have found out on YouTube better ways to do it, and then report back for the class if you find a better way, but that's how I do it. So there's a couple of other questions that I wanted to get to from the Instagram stories. Thank you, David and James, for asking a question live. And if you are watching this and you have a question that you want me to answer live, go ahead and throw it in the chat. But I did have a couple of other ones that were, some were related to Instagram and some were related to just business in general. So let's go ahead and get to these. This was a new agent question. During your first deal, how did you help your client when you didn't know the process yet? So I have actually gotten this before. And honestly, you guys, the most important thing that you can do as a new agent is make sure to read your contracts as many times as possible. And the reason I say that is because the contract is your purchase offer, like that document is basically the playbook, and it will tell you every part about like the due dates and the timelines and the contingencies and what happens if X, Y, and Z. And so as a new agent, one thing that you should do is literally read that document like 50 times before you ever execute one in real life. I think that that's one of the easiest ways to really understand the transaction. And then that's also going to give you confidence when dealing with your clients because you'll know the answers to weird one-off questions that they might ask about the transaction. So let's see. I had another question too, and I'm just looking at my notes here on the screen, you guys. How do you track spending on marketing? So this is an interesting one, especially when it's your newer year. You want to be like lean and mean, right? And for us, we have wasted tens of thousands of dollars on just like the silliest, craziest things. And I swear we've probably wasted at least $100,000 over the last 7 years. Maybe not quite that much, but you really want to make sure that if you are going to spend something on marketing, for example, if you're looking at farming, you have to commit to that for like 18 months before you're going to really see significant results from that. Any other lead source, if you're going to look at like paying money for leads, etc., you got to give it 6 months. So first off, you want to make sure that you can actually afford to do that and commit to do it for the long run because it just takes a really long time to see results. And anytime you hear like a surefire thing, like solid, ready to go leads, that to me is always a red flag in any kind of marketing. But when I'm looking at actual marketing spend, we used QuickBooks for a long time, but I'm really bad at monitoring like my P&L, my budget. So we actually finally got to the point where we outsourced our bookkeeping to our CPA firm. And that is actually something that I wish that we had done years ago. I think it's one of the most important things that you can do as a business owner is have somebody, if this is not your strong spot like me, have somebody else do this for you and then deliver the reporting to you every month so that you can review it. I think most agents will probably spend anywhere from 5 to 10% in their gross revenue on marketing each year. So that's a good rule of thumb. Bruce says in the live chat, he says, any recommendations for video editing apps and tools would be much appreciated. Right now, I record in Zoom. I upload to YouTube, then LinkedIn, Facebook business, Google business page. Yeah, that is actually a lot of what I do too, Bruce. That's exactly how I do it. At this point, so for a long time, I would edit my videos myself. And it was really embarrassing. If you scroll back on this YouTube channel, you will see some of the most embarrassing videos way back then. And then I had somebody on Fiverr do them for me when I decided that it just was not really worth my time to be editing them because I was just, A, was really bad at it, and B, I'm not a video editor. Like, why would I be spending my time editing videos when it's cheaper to hire somebody else to do it for like 25 bucks on Fiverr? And now I go to a studio. So at this point, I go to a studio. They have all the cameras set up. I sit at that desk that you see. I record my videos. It takes me an hour and a half once a month, and then I'm out of there, and they deliver the videos to me. That you don't have to do that, but it was something that I had committed to doing because it was a marketing process that I really was interested in doing, like you, Bruce, just doing videos consistently. But I was not going to keep doing it if I had to keep fumbling around with editing. So that's why I outsourced it. I hope that helps. I'm going to take a little sip, guys. Cheers. So Deepak has kind of a similar question. What is your opinion about YouTube videos editing platforms? I mean, I guess like when we have to do it, we'll use iMovie because we are Mac users. So we'll use iMovie, and then we also have is it Premiere? I think that it's Adobe Premiere. It's the Adobe suite. So that video editor too. But again, I'm just really bad at it, so that's why I don't do it. That's why I hired it out. Hope that helps. Okay, so I wanted to look back at my notes and see. Oh, you're so welcome, Bruce. Thanks for asking that question. Do you have okay, this is a question about holiday letters, which I think this is a great question because a lot of us are thinking about what we're going to be sending to our clients and our database for the end of the year. So we'll go ahead and start talking about some of those marketing aspects. So I don't put business cards in my holiday letters. Here's what I do for my holiday mailings, and I'll see if I have one of these. So in the Market Authority Academy, this is what a lot of the stuff that we're working on. We put together like our 12-month marketing plan on and off social media. A lot of that's how we're marketing to our database. And so what we do is we send out these quarterly magazines. We actually just uploaded these templates for Market Authority Academy members. So this is like just a perk that they get. But I put in our letter of the heart. So I send these out quarterly. These look so good when they're done. And I put out a letter of the heart every quarter, every 90 days. And it's kind of just like a personal touch base with our database. And our database contacts are like the people who know us, like us, and trust us. And then what we do from there is like that will go out this month. And then next month, I'm literally sending out like holiday postcards, like family holiday postcards. They're not branded at all. They have our family pictures on us. We either get them through Minted or Costco printing, like Costco Photo Center, because they're such a great deal. And then we send those out too. And so I make it as little businessy as possible. You know what I mean? No business card, no logo. If they want to reach me, they know how to find me. I just like my business card anymore, you guys, is Instagram. Like if people need to reach me, they're going to find me. They don't need my business card to do that. David says, studio, wow, I honestly wouldn't have guessed. Looks very intimately filmed. Aha! It's working. Great. I'm really glad. Thanks for letting me know that. This was a really good question that I got on Instagram. Where is the best place for clients to leave reviews? So that's a really awesome question. So we actually have a whole like setup checklist in the curriculum for the Market Authority Academy of like all the places that you should go. But just a couple of them that are easy just off the top of my head. So Google My Business page, like that one, it's literally Google My Business. Look it up. That is a really good place to leave. Have your clients leave reviews, Yelp, Zillow agent page, Facebook, your Facebook business page. Those are like the main ones usually. Shannon says, what types of client appreciation events, if any, do you do? Thanks for asking, Shannon. So we used to be really big on events, and over obviously last year, they were not really happening for us, and we have not picked them back up yet. And so when we do events, we usually did them twice a year, and they were really similar. And then we always coincide them with a charity initiative. So we would do them one in the summer and one in the holidays. So our summer one is a little smaller, but we would just have like a nice cocktail hour get together. We would leave everybody with a little takeaway, like a goodie bag, some kind of like special little thing. So in the summer, we had branded koozies. I'm trying to see if I usually have some around me, and I don't have one around me right now, but we had branded koozies with our logo on it, which was really cute. So like, little can cooler koozies, and maybe something else fun. And what we would do with that charity event is have it to benefit the Phoenix Rescue Mission, because they have a water drive here in Phoenix every summer to help the homeless who, water during the summer here in Phoenix. It's 110 degrees out there. It's a critical need. So we would do that every June. And then on on the holidays, like November, December, we would have a big blowout holiday party. It would be in the evening. It would coincide with a toy drive benefiting a local initiative that we are aligned with here. And I mean, it would just be super, super fun. But again, just some snacks, nibbles, cocktail hour. It would be 2 hours long. People kind of drop in. We have a magician who does like little card tricks for all the guests, which is so much fun. He just kind of like meanders around and makes conversation and does fun, cool tricks. And then everybody would leave with their holiday gifts. So they get an ornament, they get, there's always a couple of things that we put in these bags that I'm totally blanking on now. The ornament does have our logo on the back, right? But it's more so just like a really beautiful Arizona themed ornament. Some years they're cactus. We're actually going to be delivering those like in person this year, just dropping them off as like Popeye style at people's doors. And then we would do a big raffle. So whoever would bring toys, which our clients get so into it, they would bring bagfuls of toys, which is super cool. And we'd have a photographer to take videos and photos of this too, which would be really cool. But we'd have a big raffle prize for anybody that brought toys too. Hope that helps, Shannon. Let's see. Deepak, I would love to know your thoughts about Indian real estate scope and strategies. That's just outside of my scope. If you're speaking specifically in India, I just really don't know. I know that I have a couple people who reach out to me from time to time in different countries, and just because I don't serve there, I don't feel comfortable sharing specific because it's a little outside my scope. If there's something specific that I can help with, though, I'm always happy to try. Mike says, what are your suggestions for new graduates who want to invest in passive income rental properties, like buy a duplex and live in one side? I mean, yes, that's my thought. Yes, you should absolutely. I will say the biggest mistake that we made was we got into flipping in 2015. One of our biggest mistakes we made in real estate was flipping homes, not because it wasn't profitable. It was very profitable, but we should have held on to like half of those properties because we got such great deals. And if we had just cleaned them up and then held on to them as rentals, they would have, I mean, you guys know what's happened with the market in the last 5 years. So we would have made a lot more money. The strategy usually is pick up a door a year, right? So like try to own one new home each year. You can get really creative with financing with that. But Mike, I mean, even as a new graduate, what I would suggest is like, why not just get a condo, right? Like move into a condo, and then once it either appreciates after a year or two, you can refinance it, pull out some equity, buy your next home, and then invest that one. Like you don't always have to look for the duplex because depending on where you live, those are kind of hard to find. They're virtually non-existent here in Phoenix right now because like everybody wants them. So there's a lot of ways that you can pick up investment homes. David says, do your MAA students receive a back-end CRM software or a way to study their metrics? The short answer is yes. So in the Market Authority Academy, which by the way, for those of you who are here with me, quick FYI, we are actually doing a really fun, sorry, I'm throwing stuff on my desk. We're actually doing a really fun live training on November 10th. And I would love for you to join if you are interested in getting some more free tips like this. We do this training a very select few times of the year and we update it every time. So this is going to be the 3 systems that you need to triple your business in 2022. We're about at that time to where if you are not thinking about your strategic plan for 2022, you're too late. So let's fix that. You can meet with me next Wednesday, November 10th. All of the details to register, I will go ahead and put them in this description after I post this live stream live. And if you're on my email list, if you get my videos on my email list, like if you've ever downloaded anything from me, you'll get the details for that too. But yeah, for MAA students, all agents kind of can use their own CRM. So I don't care really so much what CRM you use as long as you like it, right? So the reason we do it that way is because a lot of agents are provided one from their brokerage sometimes or from their team. So use one that is provided to you if there is one. Use one that you'll use one that you can afford. Not all agents need a CRM right away. You will need a CRM at the point to where you are generating about 15 to 20 leads per month consistently, or if you have over 80 database contacts. So that's a point that you need a CRM for sure. But in terms of how to study your metrics, that is an entire module that we have dedicated to that in the curriculum for Market Authority Academy, because it's one of the most important things that you can do. And I talk about monitoring metrics all the time on this channel, because as soon as you start understanding what numbers, which numbers are impacting your business and how you can kind of influence those to see really cool results, your business is going to take off. And so, yeah, we actually have a couple of processes specific to our metrics. I give you all the spreadsheets. I tell you when to add to them, when to analyze it, what the numbers mean, and then we actually have a proprietary business planning process where we do the business plan about this time of year, right? We get you all set up so that you have the plan. And then we're checking in every 90 days through our quarterly business intensives to revisit that plan, look at the numbers, see if they're matching up, right? See if we're on track for where we want to be. That allows us to make any of those pivots that we need to make, and then really make sure that we're going to meet and exceed our goals. And that is part of why our agents close 2 times the amount of deals as their peers in the industry, and also earn 4 times the amount of revenue as their peers. We're really excited about that. Let's see. Here's a question in the chat. Where is a good place to find flippers? Well, I mean, if you stand outside your grocery store on the corner of the road and yell, "Hey, I need a flipper," just kidding. You can find flippers anywhere. But you might be asking specific like homes. Where's a good place to find flipping homes? It's really, really hard anymore because inventory is so low, and most markets are competing with iBuyers who have really smart algorithms that help them identify which homes are most likely to be either in distress or behind on payments or have a high amount of equity where they might want to cash out of that. So your competition to find homes is really, really high right now. I think probably the best way to do it really is just to I don't know what the best way to do it anymore is because I don't do it anymore. Mailing is one good way. You can look at tax records and pull lists and make calls. There's a lot of different ways to do it nowadays. There's also a lot of tech that you can buy. There's a lot of stuff that title companies offer for incentives. Yeah, it's just, I don't have the best answer for that. Mandy said, what do you find is the most effective prospecting activity that works for you? For me, it's focusing on relationships and real connections. So that looks like database prospecting for referrals. That's our big one. And Instagram is our other big one. So like social media specifically, Instagram is where we generate most of our organic leads who do not already know us, like us, and trust us. And that's a lot of what we're doing in the Market Authority Academy too. I just find that is the most scalable and sustainable way to grow a healthy business. And also I hate cold calling, and I hate door knocking, and I hate doing open houses because I want to hang out with my family on the weekends. So that helps me avoid that. David says, I'm not on social media professionally yet as I am not licensed. Should I use my personal social media accounts or create new ones? So you can use your personal one. And I would be documenting that journey of becoming a real estate agent. You can still be talking about like the fact that you're trying to make that life change. There's nothing wrong with bringing people in, because a lot of people actually will root for you, right? They'll get invested in your journey and they'll really want to help support you. So stick with the personal one. We actually did have this question from Instagram as well. So hopefully that helps the fellow who asked that on Instagram too. Just stick with the personal one. Don't make it too complicated. You should still be posting your personal stuff on that account anyway. Mike Nelson. Hey, Mike, how's it going? My brokerage is on its 80th flip this year, all from the MLS here in Las Vegas. Yeah, I mean, if you have people who are like going through the MLS, and if you're fast and if you're cash heavy and like you can really make that quick decision, that totally works. I think that we used to find most of our flips on the MLS. That makes a lot of sense. Mike, what were your primary research sources when exploring real estate strategies? Let's see. What were your primary research sources when exploring real estate strategies? I mean, we had to just, as bad as it sounds, there's the spaghetti approach. Like we're just throwing stuff at the wall to see what stuck, honestly. And then as time went on, we were able to just really look at our metrics and see what was working the best and what was giving us the best return. So it took us a little while to figure it out. But we just tried a lot of different things and then finally ended up sticking with what ultimately worked. And that's kind of why I like helping agents now, because most agents don't have the time to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Like most of us just need a proven strategy that's going to work, you know? Otherwise, I would be looking at YouTube, I would be listening to podcasts, I was reading books, all that good stuff. Sarah says, "What CRM do you prefer that also tracks events well?" What kind of events, Sarah? Right now, I like Follow Up Boss. It does everything that I need. Nikki, how do you and Bryce decide how you are going to divide responsibilities? Great question. So we actually did a couple of personality tests. So we did the DISC assessment. That kind of helped us understand that I'm the person that wants to tinker. I kind of like to internalize information. I like to work on the back end systems, that kind of stuff. Shocker. I'm very introverted. Bryce is very outgoing. He's a people person. He deals with confrontation really well and stressful situations, which I kind of have learned how to do that over time. But back then I was not very proficient at that kind of stuff. So he would manage a lot of the face-to-face stuff. So he is negotiating with agents when we're writing contracts. The reason we really started separating these tasks is because we found that, like, for example, he and I would both go show properties for years, and it started just to like drive me crazy, not because I didn't like spending time with him. Like, you know, I love spending time with my husband, but I could hear like the clock ticking in the back of my head and realizing that we were double paying ourselves for one service, or double charging ourselves almost for one service, because for two people to be spending time only commuting, like that's a really expensive activity. So that's why we decided, okay, I need to be home, or in our office rather, doing our marketing, doing the back end stuff, a lot of that kind of thing. And I do all the marketing, like I bring in all the business, I do all the lead gen, all of that kind of stuff. And then Bryce is like closing it, if that makes sense. Matthew, would you rather have $500,000 every 2 years or give $250 to a charity of your choice on the condition you admit you're from the edge of what the fuck? Oh my goodness gracious. I'm gonna go right ahead and remove that insane. Sorry, guys. I thought that was like a real question until I read the whole thing. You guys are nuts. Get out of here. Okay. Let's see. Nikki, I'm gonna go just skip down to yours. Like, you gotta love live streaming, right? How do you go about handing off a lead to him after you've set the groundwork for them? How do you go about handing off a lead to him after you've set the groundwork for them? Oh, so we do our consultations together. So and that's also why we share an Instagram. So like people come in, they know we work together. I talk about what that looks like behind the scenes. I try to be really transparent in like how we're running our business, especially like Instagram stories are perfect for that. So we do a consultation together. We usually do it over Zoom or in person or over the phone. And then we just tell them like, okay, awesome. So like when you're searching for homes, most of the time Bryce is going to be out there with you, and I'll make a joke like he's more fun to hang out with anyway, ha ha ha. And a lot of people understand it too, because I'm also home with my son. So we have an 18-month-old. So like I'm not gonna we can't take him on showings. And I mean we probably could, but then it's like a whole family circus. That's just not a good look. Cool, guys. Mostly really good questions for the most part. That's so crazy. So let's see. There were one or two more from Instagram that I wanted to make sure and go through. So I'm going to pick those really quick. What is the best email marketing service? I use MailChimp. It's not great. Follow Up Boss does have an email blast feature, but even that is not great. MailChimp is just easy, and it's there, and it's inexpensive. Let's see. Married couples, how does that play out in how we express ourselves and interact with clients? So for us, I guess that's also part of the question too that that was just asked by Nikki. So we work with a lot of husband and wife duos. It's actually really common. And a lot of our agents, like especially when they start getting really successful after going through the Market Authority Academy, we've had several, like more than 5 that have retired their spouses to help them in the business too, which is super cool. So yeah, I think that it is really important to go through and do those personality tests. One exercise that we do is called a task audit. So one thing that's really important to understand is how you're spending your time each day. So we lead our agents through this task audit exercise where we take all of the tasks that you find yourself working on each day and week. And then we literally have to go through it and say like, okay, who's going to own this task? Who's going to own this task? Who's going to own this task? And it's really as simple as just saying like, okay, these are the things that you're in charge of, and these are the things that I'm in charge of. But you want to go a step further too and say like, okay, what happens if something breaks or falls through the cracks or it doesn't get done? What's the contingency going to be for that? So you have to have a few systems in place for that too. Okay. The last question that I had was about Instagram bio. So how often do you update your Instagram bio? I like this question. This is a good one. So I probably do this quarterly, also because we do these pictures quarterly, these like family photos. So I just take one of those pictures, I update it across all of our social media profiles. It's really important for me that all those bio pictures are super consistent across the board. And then while I'm doing that, I'll just go into my Instagram, make sure it's fresh, maybe update some of the keywords and just make a few tweaks to keep it fresh. All right, I'm just going to make sure there wasn't anything else that I wanted to hit on this Q&A. If you had any last minute questions, we're dialing down now, so let me know in the chat if there was anything that you wanted to talk about. Okay. I do have one last really good question. Thanks, Romo, for asking this. Joe, with Coldwell Banker, cool. How big was your database slash sphere of influence when you started? We had like 50 people, and we did 11 transactions that first year, mostly all from those mostly all from that database. Over time, like we got serious about growing our database and making sure that we were connecting with people. And that's a really big part of our prospecting strategy too, is just constantly adding to our database. So meeting new people and, growing that sphere of influence. I think that the general rule of thumb is you should have 8 transactions for every 100 people in your database. Ideally more, obviously. David, you've mentioned your mentor. Who was it and how did you find them to help you? Man, I mean, I've been mentored by a lot of people. I've been mentored by the people I listen to on podcasts and by books. My first like quote unquote mentor, I would say, was Tim Ferriss, because I read the 4-Hour Workweek when I was still in my finance 9-to-5s, and that was my aha moment. Like, I can do this. We should totally start our own business. Kind of funny. And then in terms of like mentors, my lender, Lizzie Hofer, was probably one of my most important mentors. She is a like top, like one of the highest producing loan officers in the country. And she built her business from scratch. And she was really helpful in helping me understand some of the changing winds of the real estate industry, and that I wasn't crazy and that it really was that hard. Having a mentor is really important. A lot of times you just need somebody in your corner when you have questions or when the going gets rough, and you just need somebody to have your back, I guess. You don't need a mentor or a coach if you want to stay in the same place you're at. But now I have coaches in all areas of my life. I have a lot of coaches. So I'm getting a question about consumer behavior in real estate, and I'm just not really sure what you're asking. I'm really sorry. How do you set the rules for it? Consumer behavior in real estate. I'm just not really sure what you're asking, my friend. I'm sorry about that. How did you choose the companies, like lenders and things that you use? So one of the most important things you can do when you get into the business is start meeting with like the other vendors that you'll be working with. So this looks like title reps, lenders. If you are in an attorney state, right, contacting like real estate attorneys and like interview them, like see if you guys are a good fit. Home inspectors, same thing. You should really know like who you should be referring your clients to. Sometimes that they're just associated with your brokerage. So I think that our lenders at first, we met them because they were associated with our brokerage. They were like preferred lenders. And same with title. And we've changed over time as our needs have changed. But that's one of the most important things that you should be doing as a new agent for sure. Nikki says, do you include your close family and friends in your database? If so, what sort of campaigns do you include them in? We just moved here, so we have like 5 friends. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, Nikki. We do have close friends and family in our database. I want my family to do business with me, even though they don't always. And that's okay too. So, what sort of campaigns do you include them in? They're in my it depends. So everybody has the same rules. If you refer me, you're on our birthday list. You get our birthday program. And then if you have done business with me, you're in the birthday program. Otherwise, you're just getting our general mailings, you're getting our holiday stuff. We don't do too much gifting anymore unless we're like actively getting business from that individual. But when you have a smaller database, you can do a lot more. And then most people, if I think that they would refer me, any of those people will get pop buys also. So they're on my pop buy list. But Nikki, go to module 3. Go to the database setup checklist, and all those are in there for you as well. And I can send you the link for that. Nikki is in MAA, you guys. So she's asking a really good question. Let's see. David, how do you push your marketing through your know, like, and trust groups without being pushy? You focus on serving, not selling. And that looks like really speaking to your ideal client and understanding the reason why we do such important ideal client work is understanding where they're at, right? So like, what are their problems? What are their fears? What stresses them out? What's keeping them up at night? All in the context of like the coming down to like the real estate transaction, and helping speak to those and offer them solutions. So you typically start feeling salesy and pushy when you're selling, not serving. Cool, guys. Lots of good questions today. I hope that you found this helpful. And if you did, give this video a thumbs up. Like I mentioned, hang out with me on the 10th. We're doing our live training on Wednesday, November 10th. And then I'll be able to answer more of your questions during that time. We have a lot of really good content on that. I'll upload the details of that in this live stream once I post this to the channel. So come back in a few minutes. I'll make sure all those details are there for you. And you can register and save your seat. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Cool. All right, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with me today on this live Q&A. And I will talk to you guys shortly. Thanks, guys. Bye.